In the 1980s, John Paul Jr. appeared to be one of the top future stars in American racing. He competed in sports cars and won the 1982 IMSA GT Championship in a season that included wins at both the 24 Hours of Daytona and the 12 Hours of Sebring. Simultaneous to his IMSA activities, Paul also competed in IndyCar, and his best season in this time was easily 1983. In his oval debut at Atlanta, he finished 4th and later finished 2nd at Las Vegas after qualifying on the pole position. However, the major highlight of his season was the Michigan 500, where Paul battled with Rick Mears in the closing stages, but got past him and won the race. However, Paul's career was sidelined in 1986 when his father and frequent co-driver, John Paul Sr., had his drug smuggling operation exposed, and he also had attempted to murder a witness. The younger Paul refused to testify against his father and was sentenced to 5 years in prison, but he got released in October 1988. Paul then attempted to make a racing comeback. Primarily, he raced in IMSA and returned to prominence, which included getting another win at Sebring in 1992. Paul also returned to IndyCar and competed part-time there from 1989 to 1994 and finished 10th at the 1992 Indianapolis 500. Paul got a massive opportunity to rejuvenate his IndyCar career in 1996 with the formation of the Indy Racing League to compete against the established Kart World Series. He would drive for the new PDM racing team. In all, he started 10 races for the team in 1996 and 1997 and finished in the top 10 4 times. They started the 1998 season together, but split prior to Indianapolis, the 3rd race. For the 500, Paul drove for Team Pelfrey and had a strong race. Ultimately, he led for 39 laps, but his hopes of winning were dashed when his car had issues refiring after a pit stop, causing Paul to finish 7th. After the 500, Paul was hired to drive for Bird Racing. The team had been formed in 1982 by Jonathan Bird, an Indiana-based restaurateur. They started to enter Indianapolis in 1985. Bird cars would have success at Indianapolis, as Rich Vogler finished 8th in 1989, Gordon Johncock got 6th, and Stan Fox was 8th in 1991. Scott Brayton finished 6th in 1993, and Johnny Andretti placed 10th in 1994. With the formation of the IRL in 1996, Bird became a full-time team with 1990 500 winner Arie Luyendyk driving. They would win at Phoenix after qualifying on the pole position and leading for 122 of 200 laps. Then, at Indianapolis, Luyendyk was the fastest qualifier with a 4-lap average speed of 236.965 miles per hour and a best lap of 237.498 miles per hour. Each of these are still track records as of 2022. Unfortunately, their chances of a 500 victory ended when they were collected in a crash with Eliseo Salazar around the halfway point. For the IRL's 2nd season, held in both 1996 and 1997, Mike Groff became the team's driver. In the first 5 races, he finished in the top 10 4 times. Had the season originally ended after Indianapolis, the 5th race, as was originally planned, Groff would have won the championship. However, during the season, it was decided to have the remaining races in 1997 also count towards the title. Groff's title hopes ended when separate crashes at Texas and New Hampshire meant that he missed all but one of the remaining 5 races. However, the number 10 entry finished 4th in the final entrance standings, with Johnny Unser and Paul Durant serving as replacement drivers for Groff. Groff returned with the team in 1998. Although he started off the season with a 7th place finish at Orlando, Groff struggled afterwards. He crashed at Phoenix and suffered mechanical issues at Indianapolis after qualifying in a disappointing 32nd place. Bird would release Groff in favor of Paul. Initially, Paul's results were not much better than Groff's. In Paul's first 5 races with Bird, he had just one top 10 finish, a 6th place at Charlotte, where they finished 5 laps down. However, the combination turned around at Texas, the penultimate race of the season. There, Paul qualified in 14th place out of 28 drivers. Ironically, Groff would be serving as a color commentator for ABC Sports' coverage of the event. By lap 28 of 208, Paul had moved up to 10th. From there, he gained more ground on the leaders. On lap 59, Paul was running in 3rd place. 18 laps later, Paul was the 2nd place driver and then got the lead from Jeff Ward on lap 81. Paul got the lead in time for the caution to come out for debris coming off of Billy Boat's car 4 laps later. For the lap 93 restart, Paul was running in 10th place. After making a pit stop during the caution, the race went under caution again on lap 108 when Boat crashed out. At this point, Paul had gained just 2 positions since the previous restart. Afterwards, Paul made up for this by being 2nd by lap 121 and was in hot pursuit of Buddy Lazier for the lead. Lazier got caught behind the lap car driven by Robbie Buell on lap 127 and Paul pounced, but could not get past Lazier. 4 laps later, Paul got the lead once again, as Lazier made a pit stop for a deflating tire. Another caution, this time for a multi-car crash on lap 134, gave Paul a good opportunity to make a pit stop. Lazier and Ward, his 2 main competitors for the lead, would be left 1 lap down. After the lap 153 restart, Paul was 2nd and a bit behind new leader Robbie Unser. He soon gained, but Unser held him off. Then, with 48 laps to go, Andy Michner stalled in turn 4 and the field bunched up under the caution. Just before the race restarted, both Unser and Paul made their final pit stop, allowing Roberto Guerrero to get the lead. Guerrero, along with 2nd place Ward and 3rd place Lazier, would not likely have enough fuel to make it to the finish, unless there would be enough remaining laps run under caution. With 17 laps to go, Ward had to make a pit stop for fuel, giving the lead back to Paul. As Paul started lap 198, he led Unser by about 12 seconds, but suddenly Davey Hamilton spun right in front of him after Hamilton's right rear tire failed. Paul narrowly got by. Under the ensuing caution period, with 8 laps remaining, only Paul and Unser were on the lead lap. The race was restarted on lap 202 of 208 and 6 lapped cars were between Paul and Unser. When Paul started his final lap, there were still 2 cars between him and Unser. He was home free for the victory.
1 to go for John Paul Jr. What an odyssey to get here today. John Paul Jr. not in this car at the start of the year. Of course, it was Mike Ross at that time. Now he is in it, looking at a victory. Mike Ross rolls it off the final corner. And John Paul Jr. has taken the win, the 10 car.
At the age of 38 years and after starting 44 races in more than 15 years since the 1983 Michigan 500, John Paul Jr. finally won his 2nd IndyCar race. In a great performance, he led for a race-high 31 of 208 laps. Are you interested in breaking into the entertainment industry? Backstage catalogs, casting calls for movies, television shows, and other mediums, along with other industry work. Also, you can provide listings for your own projects on there. Backstage is trusted by organizations like Disney, Netflix, and HBO for work on their content. In the description of this video is a link for a special membership deal to join Backstage from me, Ryan Holman.